Alright. Let's get started with everything. I think let's go around the 3 maps, see if we can find a large base, and if we can, cool. If we can't, oh well. Trying to think. We also had a Chinese op in this AO. And we turned this into a military base. We run around, fortified that area. I could always reuse it, but let's see if we can find anything bigger. Because I think there's also the military base here, which is decently sized. But I'd want something with a little bit more oomph. Because the only other thing is the base we already hit in southeast Angola. I'm trying to think, though. Because we also have this military base here, but again, I'd want something bigger than this, but I'm not sure I'm going to be able to get it, because that was last time's AO. So let's see if I can look into some of the more urban maps we have. Ah, man, but otherwise today's just going to be a catch-up day for myself, mainly setting myself up for the rest of the week and the time I get back. And getting everything else situated. We got a hospital zone. Again, this is more for urban stuff. But with what I'm doing now... Oh, actually, no, we can use the storage facility position here. Just have a bunch of patrols. Man, I was feeling the sun, and now I'm not feeling it. Let's just do tutorial OST. That always works. Alright, if that's the case... 1 second. To set the map command properly. Yeah, I don't have lithium in this mod set. And lithium's more of an Afghanistan or Middle Eastern style map. Granted, it can be used, but you also have to add JBAD for that one, and that just... I already have a few maps in here. It goes out of my scope of focus. Alright, so I'm gonna recycle kits, pull them over, and then just populate this AO, and then we have to build another Tuesday op. And then I don't think we have any remaining ops, because Wednesday is going to be what? I'm trying to think here. Wednesday is on the ground. Well, no, we have the BT op we gotta build. But that one's already mostly pre-built, so that's fine. This one. So yeah, I mean... just build those missions and then see if I feel like building more. I'll have to look at my calendar and we'll see how things go, but... man, just, I've got a list of stuff in my, bookkeeping, or not even in my bookkeeping channel, in the general chat channel on my Discord of just things we're working on. Put those there, and then the only other thing I'd want to add is my add-on settings. Let's just export these for now. Let me go throw them in a notepad. Because I'm going to grab these, and then we're just going to make a new scenario on the actual map, and then I'll have to build things up accordingly. Ah, man. I'm also kind of in a good mood, because, a little bit of instant karma happened to someone, and I guess I am a creature of drama, but it was funny to hear about it through the grapevine. But the TLDR of it is I used to be really heavy in studying YouTube analytics just to see how everything worked. Speaking of how everything works, I want to check the inventory of this Vic real quick. Did you actually copy over? No, it did not. God, I hate these things. So why didn't you... Yeah, so and then okay, but you're not actually... I hate this thing, man. Okay, that's fine. Whatever. It's just these 3, and then I'll check it server side. We're not doing a Charlie. It's just going to be these sets, and then we're fine. Let me go ahead and throw these up, then. We'll have the QRF convoy come along the MSR. The base will be right here, so the best place to put this would be... Yeah, not right there, actually, would be more than fine. So we worked with a bunch of channels basically studying YouTube algorithm stuff back in the day. And...
Send in Goat Team 6 now.
About that beer I owe ya.
Jack Nomad, thanks for the 7-month resub, broski. I'm not sure when we're going to be doing Half-Life again, though. But the sentiment is appreciated nonetheless. Hope you keep enjoying the operations, my friend. Hope you get a nice kick out of this dev stream. But my, I worked with a bunch of other channels, and our original goal was to publish all this information. They then turned that around because they just wanted to exploit it and not publish it, because I guess they realized that, you know, publishing it means other people would start using it, but I digress. And then they fought with me about that, because I was the one that, you know, agreed to work with them all, because I was the biggest channel out of the group. Before they started, you know, partnering with other channels and blah, blah, blah. And that was dumb of them because that just gave bigger channels more of an edge and it screwed them over in the long run. But I digress. This is even funnier. They decided to publish some of the information, but they took a snippet from a video I made, like I think the only video I made about it, like years ago, just talking about how YouTube algorithm stuff works. And for whatever reason, YouTube flagged the guy that released it, who was the guy that basically turned on me and the whole, you know, we're not going to upload it to YouTube, blah, 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 because they finally decided to upload some of the information that was old because they wanted to find more people to data mine with. And then the YouTube algorithm had a schizo fit and demonetized his entire channel for re-uploading content. Within a day of him releasing that video. And I got a very angry DM. Like, after God, because what was my checklist today? Like, I'll literally explain how my day has gone. I woke up at 10 o'clock. I woke up with Bloodwing. We met my mother over at a Taco Bamba in Alexandria because they were doing, like, a promotional cocktail. Was meh, but, you know, spending time with the family, catching up. We then got groceries for Colossal Con, because we're kind of being the room mom and dad with a bunch of our friends. I then went on a binge to try to find 20 pounds of pears, found my pears, got my cider yeast. I'm going to be making 2 batches of pear cider, one to give over to Dante, so he has that because that's what he wanted. And while I was doing all that, I wrote up my list, which was... Yeah, first was to edit the poll results for Charlotte's op to confirm we're doing Xenonauts, got that information to her. Second was to announce tomorrow's training op, which I'm working on right now. And then I moved over another announcement for another Tuesday op. And then I got this massive DM basically saying, hey, why did you do this? Blah, blah, blah. I know it was you. Blah, blah, blah. Now my entire life is ruined because my channel has been demonetized. And I'm like, what? So I had to spend the last, like, God, when did I get home and start saying I was doing stuff? The last message was at 2:36. Yeah, so I spent the past hour looking into this going, like, what are you talking about? And I find out it's because he used, like, a freaking small snippet of information because he was basically posting some of my graphs. And for whatever reason, his channel got that strike. It's not even a strike. It's like just a full removal of monetization, like a day after. Now, that doesn't mean that him posting that video caused it. And I wanted to be absolutely clear with him about that because we also looked into, as a group years back, looked at how the algorithm was also false flagging a lot of stuff. And I outright told him, like, in earnest, like, I don't think the algorithm's going to remove your entire monetization over a, like, snippet of my content, because if that's how it worked, everyone would be screwed. and there would be so many false flags. Like, I don't think that's how it works. But then I started thinking about it because over the past few months, there have been a few channels surfacing that have been re-uploading my content. And I've been quietly, you know, shooting some messages, some takedowns and whatnot, because they're outright, like, re-uploading my content to talk over it. And some of them are big channels, and I'm like, eh? There's some that do it, but they tell me, and I'm like, yeah, sure, just put my name in the description. They do it. Because people like having this giant floating aircraft carrier, you know, some of my older stuff, you know, with all the custom compositions. They think it's funny. And I'm like, yeah, go for it. But, you know, others do it and they don't tell me shit. And then, you know, the first few I tried to message and they just told me go F myself, so I just removed their video. But I'm thinking it might have been possible that I put in so many requests that YouTube just said F it and scanned up all my content. And now if anyone uploads it, they get immediately flagged like that. But that wouldn't make sense because there's another video that went live about a week ago that had a snippet from one of my pay for pains. The one back, I want to say a year ago when we had 4 USS war games in the sky at once, just them taking off. It was just a simple 15-second video because they were memeing about China military stuff. I don't even remember. But it's so weird. So it's like I'm trying to figure out why the algorithm did it. I find it funny that it happened to him in the first place. But it's also like, why did it happen to you, but it didn't happen to all these other people? Because that's another thing we learned about with the YouTube algorithm is it's very patchy. Like, it'll affect one subgroup of people based off of a very niche tag they have on their videos, but to other things it won't affect at all. So it doesn't really make any sense. But I then realized after I hyper-focused on it for 30 minutes, I'm like, wait, I hate you. Why am I looking into this? And why do I even care? Because YouTube's kind of like a background thing to me. Granted, I'm going to work on some video editing tonight and try to get, you know, a video or two out there because I had to pause all production because I was focused on other stuff because, I mean, the DayZ stream we did the other day and the DayZ Pay for Pain, both of those by themselves made more from you guys torturing either my players or myself in that one stream than I would make in YouTube in a month when I try. So what's the point in me trying in YouTube? You know what I mean? Like, I don't give a shit. But it's still funny. Now, granted, I do feel bad for the guy on a level of, you know, he may hate me, but that's his entire livelihood. I mean, when I was getting DDoSed by, you know, the guy that rhymes with Bimmy for 9 weeks, it was a pain in the ass. And knowing how very vague these companies can be, and if you, like, you know, put all your chips down on a company and then they just toss you into the trash like that, I mean, that is scary. I mean, Twitch banned me for a month because of someone else saying, at first I thought it was because Iander said the N-word on one of the streams I did, but no, it was because someone said, the 1970 word for the early Cold War AT system that rhymes with French bread baguette. That was what I got banned for a month. It's really, these algorithms are really, really selective, and you have to be really, really on your toes about things because you never know what you're going to get banned for. But at the end of the day, I feel like he got false flagged for something else, and I genuinely have no idea. So that's my little snippet today, and I find it kind of funny because when it all started going down and I lost everything for YouTube, like, you know, and ended up kind of on the blacklist, I thought that was the end for me. And now as I see more and more of these horror stories coming out from so many people trying to now climb the YouTube ladder, I realized I really got off easy because there are so many worse things YouTube could have done to me. But we're still in a position where I still grow. You say my name in almost any Arma 3 community, and they're going to either have something positive or negative to say, and if that isn't fame, then I don't know what is. I'm going back in my old ops right here, because I want to also grab the ammo caches, because I already described what this op is going to be. Oh, I know. There's so many people that have blamed me for so many reasons. I remember when I cared about my reputation in Arma, and I really didn't enjoy hearing bad things about me, and I tried to, you know, put a stop to it. One of the things, like, I quickly realized a lot of things that people were mad at me over either made absolutely no sense to the point a sane person wouldn't be mad at me over that, or it was wrong or blatantly false and someone just made it up. And I'm like, bruh. I got plenty of stories that of people hating me for random reasons. But I mean, then again, I am the killer of Arma 3 communities, right? I killed a community with an Alstalfo meme. I've killed a community just by showing up. I killed a community just by streaming their op. I killed a community just by playing as a role that they asked me to come and play in. And then on the day of, when I heard people saying, oh, why is he allowed to play that role? I went, I can play on the ground with you guys instead of the Spartan role. I don't really care. I just want to vibe with you guys. Like, no, screw you. Go play the slot. It's like, okay. And then their community died because people yelled at each other over, why are we letting a YouTuber in? And it's like, what do you want from me? What do you want? I know. Liru's the community killer. Oh, no. I've been DDoSed for 9 weeks because I did Ukrainian charity ops by a jealous YouTuber. That I have so many stories that when I have children, I have grandchildren, and the internet, you know, explodes even more, and I have to explain to my kids what I used to do and how things were done, and I have to tell them all these stories. The funny thing is, I think they're going to be able to understand it, but even worse, it's like, bro, really? Like, all this crazy shit just because of XYZ? But then again, I look at the world these days, and I'm like, man, like, it's... Yeah. Yeah, no, it's only getting worse. What do you mean, no sanity? Come on. Open the inventory. I want to see if there's mines in you. You're a launcher crate. Oh. Yes, okay. I need a mine crate then, because I think these are all ammo pieces and none of them store mines. Yeah, okay, whatever. So let me just throw that in. Now I could just hit the OK button, go to the other interface and just hit the clear inventory, but clearly I'm lazy. Yeah, I mean, that was, the Alstalfo meme was the Sisters of Battle community, and that was Vix's group. But then they reformed, and I haven't in a while played with them on Fridays, but if you look on the schedule, I've actually scheduled time at least once a month to go back in there, because, you know, the 6 o'clock time slot they do is so hard for me to do in the middle of FNF. But, yeah, no, the first iteration of that community was a mess. But Vix and I are really good friends because of all the crazy BS that has happened in events we have been in, from CCO6 to that crazy shit happening. And then recently she got banned in the first MEU because of other crazy VS. And it's like, I can't. Like, this is just funny as shit. But she's on deployment right now. She'll be back in a few weeks. And then when she comes back, I'm going to try to get her in the 506. I know the 506 has a bunch of drama going around it right now because of other stuff. I'm just going to say this. If the drama doesn't affect you, just push it past you. You can laugh at it. I like to laugh at it. Laugh at it, but push it past you and then just go about your damn day. Because at this point, it's like, is it even worth it anymore, man? Here, I'm just studying the mines here. Yeah. Alright, cool. And then that's gonna be my caches of stuff, and then I'll decorate this around and whatnot as well. The drama with the 506 is basically they merged 2 of the platoons because of attendance. And I don't know how they collected the information, but they decided it's better to have 1 full platoon than 2 partial platoons. And then again, this is the second-hand sources. Drum went out, they found a bunch of people that were violating their dual claning rule and basically gave them all warnings or something. That's what I heard. And that's just what I'm reporting on. And then people were mad at me because I am billeted as a reservist in that community, but I haven't gotten yelled at and they're claiming favoritism. But I actually sat down with Drum a long time ago and I said, hey, like, is it going to be a problem if I run my own community? He's like, okay, well, do you do like dedicated Milsim stuff in your community? I'm like, no. He's like, do you work with any other Milsim communities? I'm like, I work with some Starsim communities, but I don't work with any Milsim communities. And then he's like, okay, here's what we're going to rule it as. If you're directly billeted in another community, because that's the rule, then that violates it. But if you're out there Zeusing for other communities, or you're doing a special guest commission thing with other communities, as long as your name isn't on a billet somewhere and it doesn't occur more than once, you're good. So I'm like, okay, cool. And that's, after that, I got my billet in the 506 back then. But everything I do, I've always had the, mindset of, okay, if I ever do want to get back in the 506, because one day I do want to, and I'm starting to make the move to do that, especially since Vix is going to get involved with it after she gets back. What can I do and don't, because I have made dedications to certain communities to do certain things. So the stuff with Karma Cut, for example, I can Zeus for him, because that would count as a Milsim community, especially, but it doesn't, I'm not billeted. I'm just the Zeus. And I agree with that too, Charlotte. I really don't get dual clanning rules either. I know the 506th have it because the community that they were originally part of, which was the 15th MEU, back when they did a split almost a decade ago, it supersedes me. They dual clanning rules, so they don't they have people that are slotted in both communities because they just dislike each other as communities or something. I don't know. Bad blood, who knows? But a lot of people claim it so that they don't lose players to other communities, but the logic with that is so backwards.
Send in Goat Team 6.
Because it's like, well, if people don't like your ops, they're going to go to other communities anyway. Like, that's just always how it's worked in the Arma community. Just make good ops. And then they go, well, how do you make good ops? It's like, well, it's simple. You just ask your player base what they want to play, and then you run the op. It's it's not that hard. But that's such a foreign concept to some people. It's funny as shit to me. How do I pronounce that? That is Kieran with an _M. Thank you so much for the Twitch Prime sub. Hope you keep enjoying the operations. And I do hope you get a nice kick out of this scenario. I just hope that'll drive out, but usually the poles don't clip with anything. I think those are just radio poles anyhow. But yeah, no, it's just pettiness. You're absolutely right. Pettiness and people's sheer effing hubris. No, they wouldn't have 80s. They'd probably have 70s. That's a funny complaint I got from the previous op we did with showcasing the Wagner units. They're like, bro, the stuff's too modern. It would be a lot shittier. And I'm like, okay, but this is a video game, all right? I never thought, though, I'd be yelled at by the, I was making the Wagner forces too powerful by giving them basic bitch AK-74s. But I mean, it's true if you track Ukrainian war stuff, but still, it's pretty damn funny. I don't know. At the end of the day, it's a video game, but you also have to understand that a lot of people in the world... How do I word this? Humans on their own are very simple creatures. In the sense that we pack bond over things very, very easily, and we also cling to things very, very easily and very, very quickly. And that can create a lot of issues if left unchecked. But at the same time, the point I'm trying to make here is people will really fixate over things if that's the only thing that they really have going for them. And a lot of things these days, a lot of people don't have a lot going for them these days because of all the insanity that's going on in the world. So it's just a matter of some people might give their all to a certain place, community, job, you name it, but then they will do everything in their power to preserve it in their own twisted image. And that, I think, is also where you get some of these crazy rules in certain communities over things. And that's also where a lot of toxicity can appear if you're not careful. Now, to some of you, I think that's going to make sense. To some of you that have never seen stuff like that before, you're probably still going to be scratching your heads, but there's not really any other easy way to explain it unless you've seen something like that before, in which case you'll know exactly what I'm trying to get at. And that's a horrible way to explain it, but at the same time, that's just how it works, unfortunately. Describes the town you live in? Yeah. Now, granted, I'll be honest, there are some things where I wish they were still like the good old days. Bloodway and I were having a big conversation about con life for anime conventions and whatnot, how much it's, like, twisted over various factors, and just an acceptance of it's never going to be like that again because of certain reasons, but, you know, it's sad, but you just have to understand that things are always changing, and you got to enjoy things in the moment, because if you don't, you're going to lose your opportunity to. And then it's never going to be the same. Alright. So basically, to explain the operation I'm building here, it's going to be another French false flag op. We're going to basically be hitting another Wagner base. This time we're going to be destroying supply caches. There'll be a minimum amount they have to destroy. And then they'll have to hit a QRF convoy that comes in. The extra caveat I'm adding, though, is I'm having all 4 of these missions link up with each other. So how much they destroy in that convoy is going to affect the next mission as well. Which I think is going to be a pretty cool feature. I want to fortify that area. Are there any other little areas I want to fortify? I mean, I guess I should fortify up there because it will affect things. Hold on. Phone just blew up. That's the thing about my job, too, is I sometimes, even while I'm streaming, I gotta just start working on everything else. Yeah, so Karma Cut's too icy. Mooskell, who now I don't even deal with Karma Cut anymore. Mooskell just took over that responsibility, I guess. Karma's done with me. I say that in jest, but he's just asking me what the situation is for this weekend. But again, I'm going to be gone for a con. But yeah, I just wanted to deal with him, shoot him that DM. Because if someone's going to make plans around things, you know, they should be informed ASAP over XYZ. Because if they're not, then, you know, you're just kind of screwing with them at that point. Come on, rotate. That's what I hate, though. The reference point isn't aligned with the damn thing. So if you rotate it, it's just going to be weird. It misaligns it like that. You got to then reset its position. Yeah, at that point, I don't mind spacing things out. I just have to make sure that there's room in these the sandbags here for the ladder to then come up. Can a single lawn piece not just do that job then? Yeah. So what am I doing with the short pieces? And how about instead of him being crude, I just put like a marksman up there or something? That should be a lot better. This is a little supply base, though. Let's just also put a few sandbags on certain little areas, and we'll go from there. You know what I do also want to do sometime soon is another armor-only op. Those are pretty fun. We just gotta find the time. I want to set up some MI8s on these platforms, because, well, not... Oh, we can land one, though. I do also like the casualty build-up right here. That is pretty nice. Because they call this a storage facility, but it's just... It's clearly more like a military markup. Yeah, short piece to give him a bit of a walkway to come out of. And then we'll copy that and put it around back here. Does anyone raise concerns over the goat house? So funny enough, Musko was actually just DMing me to tell me that he was, he wanted to give me some feedback for the op, but then he never had any time to, like, write it down. So I might hear some feedback over it, but I haven't heard anything negative. But again, that could change. Who knows? But that's the thing. The player base seems pretty chill about they want to do their very specific thing. But then after that, you know, they can meme around. As long as it doesn't, like, break the immersion of the operation as it's going down. Has there been any info? Okay, so I'm not... I can't... We can't do anything about Arma 4 right now. Like, I can't word it. I can't... Usually I have a witty way to put this, but I'm just going to be honest with you. We can talk about it later. But later as in years later. When it's already out. Anyway. When we get to an adjacent topic, then I'll make some jokes, but... For now, I would say go look at Reforger, go see how Reforger's doing. Reforger, they have openly said, is going to turn into what they want Arma 4 to potentially be. Why'd I put you there? No, you're just a marksman. So go focus on Reforger. That is all I can tell you about that right now. I apologize. We can put a marksman up here too. There we go. Whatever you glean from those statements, you are allowed to scream from the hills, but Unfortunately, Liru might be under a little bit of a microscope over a few other things that Liru may or may not have said in the past, and Liru just doesn't feel like dealing with any negative repercussions at the moment. It's so bad that Liru's speaking in third person. It'll be ready when it's ready. That's... Yeah. Yeah. Let's go with that. It'll be a while, though. I think I can get away with that. Now, here, let's go on a speculation frenzy, though, because I'm not under anything to talk about these topics. So, the operation the other day for SOG Prairie Fire that I was on the ground in, and I'm actually really happy that I didn't finish my mission file in time, because we had 2 people that were playing on the ground that are new for SOG, but they're basically, the whole goal for them to be there that day was so they could play through some of the missions and get a feel for the ops to then put them in something else. And I think that's all I can speak about that topic. Which I thought was really interesting, because they're going to be doing that for the next, like, few months. And that's also when I'm going to be Zeusing stuff. So, do you think it's a good idea for Liru to start terrifying game devs? Because I'll leak this. The mission was going to be, and I've thus expanded it. It was just going to be a mission where I basically ambush them on the infill. And then I basically try to make them survive the entire time as I constantly try to extract them, but then stop the extraction every single time with some BS that, like, shoots them down or halts them or blah, blah, blah. And it basically just puts them through what I like to call equatorial hell. But I have since thought of an even crueler idea about it. And it's going to be a prank. Because I'm not getting approval from the devs to do it. I've just gotten approval from Nemesis, who's the community manager. So here's what I did. I took the mission, Eldest Son, the first mission in the campaign, and I didn't rip it from an EBO file, which I could, but I don't want to piss anyone off because some people are sensitive over those things, as I've come to learn. But I basically took all the markers and I recreated them one for one in the scenario. I looked at every little detail about the bases, the naming, the positioning, everything, and I recreated it one to one in my mission file. I've named the mission after the mission of the official campaign, and I've gotten everything except the text prompts and the word prompts to come up. So to them, my goal is to make them think they're playing a standard campaign mission. And this campaign mission, it's the first one, so it's the easiest. You basically land, you learn about the tracker module, you basically go and blow up an ammo cache and you leave. In and out, nothing too crazy. I'm going to shoot them down on insert. It's going to go from, oh, okay, it's just Eldest Son. You go in, you go and blow an ammo cache to, they're going to land, Chopper's going to be pulling away, Trigger's going to execute, Igla Gunner's going to shoot down Chopper, then the whistle sound is going to trigger all around them, and it's going to be a true fight for your fucking life. I would pull tricks in missions, but this is going to be the first one where, first off, these are devs. Okay, these are devs and Bohemia staff and war vets. Which I'm not sure that's the best idea to take Vietnam vets and put them in, you know, a very stressful situation like that. So I'm toning it back on certain areas because I don't want anyone to get any flashbacks, because I've done that before and I feel twice. I've done that twice. I felt horrible about it both times. I don't ever want to do that again. Because yeah, PTSD is a bitch. But yeah, no, I'm gonna literally pull the rug out from them and kind of laugh about it and debrief. But no, as soon as they hear that whistle trigger and see their chopper get shot down and all of a sudden start hearing all the VC voices around them, that's when I have a text prompt that comes up and says, oh, it's a Liru. JK, it's a Liru. Because they're still casual, but it's, yeah. So I got to get with their mission creator, go through a few scripts that he uses, and then figure out how to camo them in. I'll have some little hints that it's not an official Eldest Son mission. And some of the players that know how to metagame will start picking up on it, but to the rest of them, like the devs and whatnot, it'll be a surprise. It'll be a surprise. But it's not going to run for at least another 2 weeks. But yeah, that's just one of the various projects I have going. And we'll see what happens. Because remember, I'm evil. According to, you know, a bunch of other YouTubers. I'm either a really good Zeus or I'm just outright evil. So might as hell pray for that. Better hope they don't see this. They won't, no. The metrics on the people that actually watch the mission dev streams and the... when I upload them as VODs, it's very low. It's the people that are going to be playing that op aren't going to see it. So I'm okay with talking about it. Now, that being said, you're not going to see any mission dev for that mission because I am going to keep that close to the chest, but, you know. Okay, just talked. Cool. Liru's just having a little bit of fun. That's the thing, too. Usually, the biggest audience I have that watch these missions are people that are deving their own things or just chilling themselves. And, you know, most of you are, I would consider, more of my true fans. That just like to come in, chill with me, see how the sausage is made, and we just vibe, meme around, that sort of shenanigan. How many minutes until that? Well, Jeffrey, that's a tough one. I thought I postponed it to Thursday. I was gonna do it at Colossal Con, not here. But you know, just go check the schedule, buddy. Okay? You just gotta go back, reference the schedule. It's not the public one, by the way. It's the private one. And if you know, you know. And if you don't, then, you know, don't believe everything you see on the internet. But, you know, just calm down. It's okay. Oh, that one? Oh, no, that one's on the public schedule. Okay, no, you're good. You're fine. Yeah, no, that one's still tonight. Of course. Fucking hell. Alright, I'm gonna lock this before someone gets a silly idea. Because knowing the player base, they're full of silly ideas. That's another thing I want to do is set up either a Mike Force server or an Antistasi server. If it's a Mike Force, though, I'm definitely playing it, but the, But in Antistasi, I do prefer to just Zeus it to make it a little bit more interesting, because who hasn't played a good Antistasi? But even then. Alright, I'm going to pull these units out just so I can start taking the squad leader here. And then the convoy, I think I'll just make that as they're quote-unquote pulling out. But let's count off like 20 infantry here. So 1... And then I'll get to skills question right there, because that appears to be a giant paragraph. Jeffrey, are you a bot, by the way? Or are you an actual person? Because we also have bots that come in and say that stuff. I'm just curious. Because I'm also trying to track the amount of bots that actually speak in chat as just a fun little metric. You have downs? Ah. That still doesn't answer if you're a bot. Alright, let's see. We want some armed guys here at the entryway. The rest will be filled in with patrols. Well, Just, I know you're a frickin'... You're not a bot, you're a toilet. Don't break character, Justin. Come on, you know better. Don't ever break character. Otherwise, you're not getting paid, and then you're not being let out of the basement again. Goober. Alright. Skill, let me answer your thing before it gets buried in chat. Wanting to switch to a PC from console for armor purposes. Any good suggestions on what to look for? Honestly, to play Arma 3, you just need a computer with a semi-decent CPU. Any GPU will work fine. I mean, I know people that are playing Arma with 1060s and they're doing fine because you don't need a good graphics card. You literally just need a decent CPU with the biggest amount of emphasis on its primary core, and you will be fine. That is all you really need for playing Arma. I would also argue you need at least 16, but preferably 32 gigabytes of RAM. Because I have noticed a trend in the past of if you only have 16 gigs of RAM, you're a lot more likely to have mem leak issues. But if you have 32 or even 64 gigs, you will... 64? I think I only know of 1 or 2 people that had one... whatchamacallit? I just used the term too, memory crash, essentially. But yeah, it's 32, you'll still maybe get it on occasion. It's also not as bad ever since they uploaded 64-bit executables and all this other, shenanigans, but... Yeah, I would just say primarily you want to focus on the CPU. Secondarily, you want to make sure you have enough RAM. Memory, before you get a memory leak issue, that's it. Ah, my brain is selective. Put another guy over here. And you know what? I'm just putting that random thing to sandbags. Why? Because I can. Why not? All right. Where do I want to put this garrison of force for debug? I'll put them up here because that's just the opposite of... Ah, yes, the random terrain buildups. I love those. And then we got those all pre-made and whatnot. And then let's start doing our... Select all, and then we can load things in. Import. Okay. I have a PvP op where the player base is taking the island in an open world campaign with warlords all over, while I have 2 player warlords who enjoy each have a budget and income who can enjoy effing with the players. It was a fun test playthrough. I had one supplying the players, the other killing them. That's pretty damn dope. All right, not gonna lie, I love creative concepts like that, Sprocket, and I commend you for something like that. Those are always pretty fun to do. Jeffrey, I appreciate the way you'd want to prove it to me. I'm not a fan of that type of smut, though, so, I'll pass. But I appreciate the offer. I do have an open door policy. It's meant to be for anyone to DM me about anything, usually armor-related. Sometimes it's Twitch or YouTube-related, and I don't mind answering their questions. But yeah, other people use it to send me other things, and I just look at it and I go, okay, as long as you're not breaking laws or Discord rules, sure. But if you start breaking laws and Discord rules, don't feel like dealing with that. Just don't get me into trouble, okay? Don't pull me into your shenanigans. That's all I ask. Led to some funny things, though, but still, just don't get me into trouble. That's all I freaking ask, guys. Oh, yeah, no, that is another thing to consider. I don't consider it because you wanna have at least a terabyte of storage if you're getting a laptop, and if you have a desktop, at least a terabyte or 2 of storage. Preferably solid states, because otherwise it does take a while for your stuff to boot, but yeah, storage, you're gonna at least want 500 megabytes, but, that means you want a terabyte in total for all your other stuff, but these days... Especially if you're going to be playing other games. I mean, some games right now are literally like 150 gigs for the single game. Arma itself isn't that big, but when you start adding mods, then it gets pretty messy. Good point. Completely forgot about that. Helps if I can spell, right? There's another trick I learned when I was building that Vietnam mission I mentioned earlier, and I want to show it to you guys because it's actually kind of cool. You take an area. The normal thing I do is do a grid diagonal like this, but we can make it a little cooler by setting the area and then Control-Shift-C, Control-Shift-V pasting on its exact position. Instead of grid diagonal, we do border. Now look at that. It borders it. That's pretty sexy. Now I'm actually curious though, if I selected both of you, would you both fold at the same time? No, it only selects one of you. So you have to basically copy it over at the other piece right there. But yeah, no, I stole that from official SOG Prairie Fire mission, Devin. Yeah, Starfield's 120 gigs, so it's like, ugh. You know, it's a mess. Your test map is Tanoa is a good map to work with. I recently built a 5-mission campaign on Tanoa, and now I can't use it for like a month and a half because of other stuff. But I was in the run of that, but I've already explained that one, so. Am I doing any Zeus stuff today? No, I canceled my one Zeus thing because I'm going to be doing 2 Zeus things tomorrow, and I need some time to basically set up for other things. But, all right, how do I want to do this? And then there's local forces as well. I'll put those symbols around, then I need an evac point, which is an end marker. Okay. Since it's my community, I don't really focus on the small details. If it was for guest work and other stuff, then I would. So we do that, check that off, check that off. Yeah, let's go ahead and have a look, make sure I did everything proper. There probably is a mod that tones down the wind. I just don't know of it. But yeah, no, the wind in not only Tanoa, but any map that uses Tanoa as a framework, yeah, the wind will blow out your damn ears. It's annoying. I forgot to add in my additional scripting. Let me go grab that real quick. Random note, because I don't think Dante texted me back. Probably because I've noticed Dante has been streaming like literally the entire evenings, but Darktide's supposed to have a massive update. Is that today or tomorrow? And if so, what time? Because I know Dante wanted to hit me up to play it. Mission folders, there she is. And then I need to go into the previous test stop, copy and paste the SQFs and extensions. And then I can go ahead and paste those in here. Yeah, no, exactly. He's probably still sleeping. But yeah, no, I'm gonna see him on Thursday and then be chilling at him at a con, but I gotta make a batch of cider for him, which is gonna be fun. Oh, wait, yeah, was it in October? Because I don't... October 4th. Okay. Yeah, so I'm an idiot because I thought it was September 4th, so I was trying to free up everything to do that with him this evening, but no, I'm just dumb. Gotcha, so that gives me a whole month, and I'm going to be honest, by the end of this month, I should be set on everything going forward. Righto, Sprocket, thank you for dropping by. Yeah, so this map, for example, has the same freaking wind issue as Tanoa, and I freaking hate it. I just remember, like, it was like 2017 or 2018, I was literally doing a Zeus mission, I put myself in the air, I'm like, after an Arma update, I'm like, why the fuck is it so heckin' wimby? Why? It's heckin' wimby. But anyway, 1, 2, third cache, fourth cache, yeah, so 5 caches, they have to demo 3. And then I have to make a convoy that they then have to ambush. There's the index point. Boom, boom, bam. And then 20 minutes after first contact. Do all the Dishkas have ammo, and then the armor's randomized, but it doesn't affect the ammo, which is nice. Yeah, cool. Yeah, Dante does not like playing Phasmophobia anymore. I would love to get him back into playing some of the other Ghost games, though. There's a few that he's always excited for, and we play them for like a week or two, and then it just fizzles out. Because I think we're just waiting for more content, more updates. But I mean, if you, as I say with me working with any other YouTuber or Twitch streamer, if you want me to play with them, go ask them to come play with me, and that's usually what gets my name in their head. Because otherwise, I'm too busy doing my own stuff. Yeah, because we got turned off because they were still in the process of refining everything. Nowadays, I would say Phasmo, there is an art behind it, but it was kind of too late because we lost a lot of our money when we were super high levels in number. Granted, they've redone the entire game now, but again, it's just kind of permanently turned them off from it. But anyway, this mission's done. I'm gonna BRB 1 second though, but yeah, this will be run tomorrow.